everyone in podcast listening land. I'm Karen Devaney.
And I'm Ann Varner.
And we're sisters.
Welcome to Sugar-Coated Murder, where we'll discuss
and probably inappropriately laugh about and comment on.
Yep, one of our favorite subjects.
Murder. Oh, and we love to bake. And why not combine our two favorite subjects?
Baking.
And killers. Hello, Ann Varner.
Hiya.
Hiya.
Yeah.
Hiya, Watha.
Hiya, Watha.
Whew.
How's it going?
Hiya, Watha cooking.
What's a cooking? I am going to cook another savory dish.
Oh, good. I'm
because
so happy.
It's summertime, and I love a summer squash.
Oh, gosh, I do too.
And I have an old recipe. Trout.
We can't start this way, buddy.
No.
We have to not do that.
You can't do that. I give him a couple treats.
Yeah, throw him somewhere where he has to go look for them. A long ways away. In the next zip code.
Here we go. All right, So I love a summer squash, and forever ago, I got myself a squash souffle recipe.
I love a squash souffle.
And I haven't made it in forever.
No, you haven't.
So we went out to the local market and got us some squash last weekend.
We really did.
I have cut it up. So now this recipe, the first step is to steam your squash.
Yes.
Which used to be my least favorite part.
Not anymore.
Because it takes forever to steam your squash just in a pan. And you stand there and you stir it. And
yeah.
You really just want to steam. You don't want to singe it or anything like that.
And you really don't want to boil it.
You don't want to boil it.
Because it boils the taste out of it.
Right. So I used my Instapot because my sister ordered some Pampered Chef steamer baskets for the Instapot.
Wonderful.
From our niece.
Yes, Taylor. Shout out to Tay-Tay.
She had a Pampered Chef party, and we love a Pampered Chef.
And we love to support our folks.
We do. We really do.
So that was a double blessing. Speaking of double blessings, she got doubly blessed with twins, and they're so adorable. They're two little girls. They are just little jelly beans. I want them.
If it wasn't a darn pandemic, we'd be able to go hold them.
I know.
And then we'd each get a baby.
Damn pandemic. I'm over it already. So anyway, shout out to Taylor. Thanks for the Pampered Chef party so we can spend money.
Yes. So it's so easy. I sliced up half the squash, put it in the basket. First off, I put a cup of water in the Instapot and then sliced half my squash. Then I chopped up my onion and I put the onion on top. And then I put the rest of my squash on top of that.
Beautiful.
Closed up my Instapot and I steamed it for 2 minutes. I checked it. It wasn't quite done all the way because it was a full steamer basket. So I steamed it for another 2 minutes and then let it sit a little bit, which was perfect. Once I took the top off, it sat on my counter for a while and dried out because you want to try and get all that water out and kind of mash it.
Yeah.
So now I've got that all set. I'm going to mix in some flour, some eggs, some milk, some cheese, and a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm going to mix it all together, throw it in a casserole dish, stick it in the oven.
Throw your dog in the oven.
Throw my dog in the oven. Yeah, he'll be all right in a minute.
Okay.
So I'm going to mix all of this stuff together. It's going to be delicious.
That's wonderful.
I'm going to throw it in the oven, and you'll have to excuse my voice. I woke up this morning, sneezed 2 times, and lost half my voice. So we just have to muddle through.
That's fine. We can, because we're troopers.
We're troopers.
The show must go on.
It must go on. I'll suffer through. Actually, when I'm done mixing this up and getting it in the oven, I'm probably going to have a glass of wine.
Oh, there you go. That might help. Or it might completely clear, just get rid of the whole voice, and then I'll just do a solo today.
Yeah, you just tell me. I wrote my murder out. Tell it.
Okay, I'll tell it. Go tell it on the mountain.
All right, so what have you got? What are you doing over there?
I'm doing a murder, and this murder takes place in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Right.
We're going to go back in time to August 5th, 1992, around 12:30 a.m.
Woo.
The police are called to the home of Joan Burghardt.
Okay.
She lives on East Gordon Street on the east side of Allentown, Pennsylvania. I keep wanting to say Allenstown. It's not. It's one Allen.
Just one Allen.
And it's not even a possessive Allen. It's just an Allentown.
It's his town.
It's his town, but it's not possessive. He's not possessive about it.
Yeah, he's not. He's very nice about it.
Right. So Joan lived in a 1-bedroom, first-floor apartment. She had left around 11 o'clock that evening to run a friend home, and when she returned, she was immediately alarmed.
Oh.
Joe noticed that a fan that she had left on before leaving was off.
Oh, my God.
Returned. Yep.
That would freak me out.
Well, I think it freaked her out. She called the popo.
Oh, Lord.
Her patio door that she had left open was now closed.
Oh,
and
gosh.
the screen door that was locked when she left was now unlocked, and the screen had been cut right next to the locking mechanism.
Have mercy.
She also reported there was money missing from her dresser drawer, about $40 or $50.
Well, she's brave to have even gone in the house. I wouldn't have gone in the house.
I agree. Well, I wouldn't have stayed. I wouldn't know. It wouldn't have taken me long to hightail it right the hell out of there.
No.
So the first sign of trouble, it would have been gone.
Yeah.
I would have been out. Anyway, nothing else seemed to have been disturbed, but somebody had certainly been there when she was away. So the police came and they took a report and they left.
Oh, Lord. I hope she went and stayed with her mama.
Doesn't seem that she did. About
friend.
4 days later, on Sunday, August 9th, around 11:30 in the morning, Joan's neighbor called the police to complain that Joan's stereo had been blasting for 3 days and 3 nights.
No.
They couldn't get her to answer the door, and the screen had been out of one of the windows for 3 days.
It took them 3 days to call?
Seems like it.
People, if you see a screen missing in my window, you call right now.
Immediately. Don't wait. Please don't wait. So they also said that during, this gets me. They also said that during one of the 3 recent nights, and it sounded like someone was beating Joan up.
Oh my God.
And because they could hear someone or something hitting walls and screaming.
Oh my Lord, have mercy.
And they didn't call. Come on,
what
guys,
in the
call.
world?
Hear something, see something, say something.
Oh, I got a sneeze building. I got a sneeze building.
Well, kazoo tight on top of that. So when the police arrive, they find that there's a front window screen that was laying on the ground, leaning against the building, and under that window, it was leaning against the building under the window.
Okay.
That window was open. The screen on a rear window had been pushed out and was laying on the ground.
Oh, gosh.
And that window was also open. There was a screen door that had been cut, which we already reported, but they didn't know that it was in a previous report.
Right.
And the TV sound was blaring loudly, and the patio and front doors were locked.
Oh, no.
Inside the apartment, Joan lay on her stomach on the floor of the living room by the couch. There was a large amount of blood on the floor, couch, and walls, and she had been brutally beaten about her head, but nothing else in the apartment seemed to be disturbed. Joan was wearing a sleep shirt and a pair of jockey shorts, like men's, what do we call them, boxers?
Yeah.
They had been ripped at the crotch and pulled up.
Oh, God.
She was nude from the hips down, and upon further investigation in the bedroom, there was a dresser drawer that was open and a pair of black shorts were on the floor in front of the dresser. And the shorts had some blood stains and white spots on them.
Oh, God.
There was a peach-colored shirt found hanging on the closet door, and it had a large bloody swipe mark.
Oh, my word.
Where maybe a weapon had been wiped off on it. So, who was Joan? Well, we're going to talk about who Joan was. Joan was a 29-year-old nurse's aide.
Sorry.
Okay.
29-year-old nurse's aide. I'm with you.
Yes. And she was the daughter of Stanley and Gladys.
Stanley and Gladys.
She was the youngest of 3 children, and she was an aspiring nurse, a music lover, and a former high school honor student.
Aww.
Joan had been battling depression for a while, and over the past 7 years, she had threatened suicide several times. As far as her parents knew, she had never attempted it, but when they could not reach her for 2 days over the weekend, they feared the worst.
I'm sure. Oh, gosh.
So when they learned that she had also not shown up for her nursing shift the day before, they got in their car and rushed over to her apartment. They had agreed on the way over there that if they got there and Joan's car was there, then she probably had gone through with it.
Oh, so they're thinking she's committed suicide. Oh, gosh.
When they pull up, they see police cars and neighbors all over the place outside of her apartment, and they immediately knew it was something much worse than they feared.
Right.
So the investigation continued as Joan's family prepared to lay her to rest. She was remembered as someone with no enemies that wanted to become a nurse and hoped to marry someday. When the autopsy report came out, it revealed that Joan had been sexually assaulted and had been bludgeoned to death by 37 individual blunt force injuries to her scalp.
Jiminy crickets.
Causing extensive skull fractures and brain damage.
Whoa.
The weapon was most likely cylindrical, about 1/2 to 3/4 inches in diameter with a smooth surface. And the force of the blows were so deliberate and violent that her hair was actually embedded into the skull fractures.
Oh my gosh.
Joan also had defensive injuries on both hands. All of the blood at the scene, including the drops on the black shorts and the swipe on the peach short, belonged to Joan. However, the black shorts had those white dots on them.
Right.
They turned out to be semen.
Of course.
So DNA was extracted, but it's 1992.
Right. We don't do that in 92.
So the analysis of the blood spatter on the walls indicated the attacker was about 5'10" and had stood over his victim while beating her with his weapon.
Isn't that incredible that they can figure out the height of the suspect based on blood spatter? I've always found that fascinating.
I'm fascinated by that. I really am. They can find out so many things. Because it's different blood spatter when you take it up than when you take it down.
Right.
It's crazy. So, I'm fascinated. And then you put my husband in there who studies it and teaches it. It really can be very.
I understand the people that do the analysis for blood spatter make a lot of money.
I would imagine that they do because they're very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So, very knowledgeable. So, okay. Now we're going to go to June 9th, 1993, which is about 10 months after Joan's attack.
Okay.
Allentown police receive a report of a missing person on East Gordon Street, which is where Joan lived.
Oh, no.
A neighbor grew concerned when she noticed that the little newspaper delivery girl's cart full of newspapers sat in a yard between two houses. And it sat unattended for about 30 minutes. She was usually very punctual. So 15-year-old Charlotte Schmoyer, when she had not finished delivering the papers.
Oh, no.
Some neighbors had gotten theirs, and some had not. And past where the cart was parked and facing, nobody had gotten any of their papers. And there was also a random newspaper rolled up in somebody's yard, which is not where she left the papers.
Right.
And this was very uncharacteristic of Charlotte because she was very conscientious. She was working very hard for the paper. She was just shy of her 1-year anniversary, and she was going to get a very special T-shirt that indicated that she was the morning delivery person.
Nice.
So, yes, she was very conscientious and very proud of her job. So police come to investigate, and they find Charlotte's half-filled newspaper cart and the lone copy of the other newspaper in the yard. They find a Walkman that had been separated from its headphones.
Oh, a Walkman.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah, the headphones had been detached, and those two items were found between the houses, but not together.
Right.
And there were bloody finger streaks on the glass pane of a neighbor's garage door.
Oh my gosh! Why? Why do you pick these?
I don't know. I don't know why he's talked to me.
Oh my gosh!
There were obvious signs of a struggle.
You're going to have to do, the next one you do has got to be a survivor story.
Okay, I'll do a survivor story.
Yeah, because I can't.
These are
finding like the worst.
So, the search is on for sweet 15-year-old Charlotte. Later that day, a search team comes across a bloody trail that leads them to Allentown's East Side Reservoir and to the body of Charlotte buried beneath some logs.
Oh, gosh.
There were signs of sexual assault.
Damn it.
And the autopsy found that she had been stabbed and slashed in her throat and on her back more than 22 times.
Whoa.
There was indication that she struggled with her attacker. The weapon used was a single-edged, smooth knife about 4 inches long, and a few of Charlotte's wounds were so deep it was obvious the stabs went right through to the hilt or the beginning of the handle.
Wow.
So it was very violent. Semen was extracted and a DNA profile was gained. There was also hair found on Charlotte's knee that was not hers, and it was a pubic hair.
Oh, God, I understand. for God's sakes, Karen.
Did you know that this is a murder podcast?
Oh my gosh.
Charlotte was an avid swimmer and a band member at her high school, and the newspaper, her boss at the newspaper said that she made very few errors in the first year of being the early morning newspaper girl.
Come on, he couldn't say she was excellent or superb.
He said that she made very few errors where most people would make several errors. She had only made 2 in the whole year.
He should have said she didn't make any.
Perfect.
She was perfect.
I agree.
Come on, man.
So, June 28th, 19 days after Charlotte was killed, Denise Sam Calley is her name. It's hyphenated, but we're just going to call her Denise because that confuses me, Sam Calley.
Right.
She was at her home on East Highland Street on the east side of Allentown that she shared with her husband, and he was out of town.
Oh, no.
She awoke to a noise coming from inside her walk-in closet.
Oh, my God.
She got up and ran.
Oh, yeah.
As she exited her house, she was grabbed from behind, thrown onto the front walk, flipped onto her back.
Oh, God.
Her attacker got on top of her and used his knees to hold her down.
Oh, my gosh.
And as Denise fought with her attacker, he pushed down on her mouth to
so she
suffocate her.
Scream.
He choked her and he punched her at least 4 times in the face. And in the struggle, she was able to bite his inner arm.
Good for her.
Go, Denise. He then raped her.
Oh, gosh.
And then ran back into her house and escaped out the back patio door.
Are you kidding?
No. Denise, of course, called the police, and she had been beaten on her head and face, and she had strangulation marks on her neck, but she had survived.
Right.
A large butcher knife wrapped in a paper napkin from her kitchen was lying on the floor outside of her bathroom door.
Oh, my gosh.
After the incident...
It makes you want to get rid of all your butcher knives, right?
Yeah, it does. It makes you want to put them in a safe, like a gun safe.
Yeah.
Like you lock them at night.
You can't have this unless
you know
have
the combination.
Right.
Denise and her husband... So after the incident, Denise and her husband left the residence for a few days to get away from the trauma.
For a few days? I would have left town.
I think it's more than a few days. So meanwhile, on July 14th, so this happened on June 28th, your dog needs serious attention.
I know, I'm going to give it to him. I didn't have breadcrumbs, so I'm trying to crumble up some bread that I toasted.
Okay.
Because this goes on top of my casserole.
And it is important.
But I didn't want to be holding my dog while I was doing it.
I appreciate that, too.
No problem.
So Denise's attack took place on June 28th. So now we're at July 14th.
All right.
Around 7 o'clock in the morning, Jessica Jean Fortney was found dead in her bed by members of her family that lived with her.
My God. Is anybody thinking serial killer? Serial rapist?
Not yet.
Whew.
So the home was located on North Bryan Street, which also happens to be in East Side Allentown.
My gosh.
Jessica Jean was 47 years old and was the mother of 4. When she was found in her bed, her face was swollen and black. She had dried blood all over her face. There was blood spatter on the wall directly behind the sofa and on a lampshade next to the sofa. There were signs of sexual assault.
Wow.
There was a first floor window that was open and the screen was missing.
Of course.
So the autopsy revealed that Jessica Jean had died from manual strangulation and blunt force trauma to her head and face. There were more than 50 strikes directed at her head and face, and it appeared that she had been beaten with a closed fist.
Wow.
Yep. The autopsy also confirmed that she had been raped.
Wow.
So that was on July 14th. Yes. 4 days later, Denise and her husband are at home. Remember Denise?
Wait. Oh, no.
Remember Denise?
No.
Okay. So she and her husband are at home, and they are awoken around 4 a.m. in their home by a noise in the house. Suddenly, the back door opened and set off the newly installed alarm.
Right.
The intruder fled.
Oh, God.
After that,
they moved.
Allentown police provided an armed officer to stay in the home at all times.
Oh, my gosh.
They knew the intruder would be back.
Oh, no. I'd be out. Goodbye.
So in the meantime, A 5-year-old girl was attacked and raped in her bed.
Karen,
I'm not kidding. This
why
is so bad.
are you doing? Why?
Because I didn't know about this.
You should have stopped.
I can't just stop.
You have to.
No.
Oh.
She was raped in her bed.
Don't give us all the details of that.
Her attacker attempted to strangle her. He fled before he killed her. She survived his attack.
Thank God.
Upon investigation, it was discovered the 5-year-old had been stalked for several days before she was attacked in her home. Yep. I mean, this is back in the 90s, sugar.
Don't care.
People, I know. Well, I mean, back in the 90s, I was a scared chicken shit. So I locked about every door and I checked every closet every single day of my life.
Back in the 90s, I was living in a house where the door didn't lock.
Yes. And I would check behind the, when I would come into our apartment, I would look behind the shower curtain. I would look at in all the closets under the beds. We lived in the tiniest little apartment, but I was not taking any chances. And we lived on the second floor, and I didn't care. Yeah. Because I thought, listen, if Spider-Man can walk up a building, so can an evil man.
Exactly right.
So on July 31st, an armed Allentown police officer is at the home of Denise when he becomes alerted around 1:25 a.m. as he heard the doors being jarred. Oh. He then noticed a gloved hand removing the downstairs window screen. No. This man has patience. Listen to this. He then saw a head and then a torso slither through the window. And he made no sound. The officer waited for the entire person to enter the home through the window.
Oh my gosh.
And then he pounced. The intruder ran into the kitchen and exchanged gunfire with the officer. Oh, no. And here Denise and her husband are asleep in their bed.
Oh, my word.
The officer took cover in a bedroom, and the intruder escaped out the kitchen door. Oh. They should make a movie. This is an incredible story.
Oh, my gosh.
Around 3:30 in the morning, that same officer was called to a local hospital.
Okay.
He was called to a hospital. There he came face to face with the intruder who had cut himself on the glass of the kitchen door as he escaped.
Oh, poor baby.
The officer was able to recognize him and identified the man as the intruder at Denise's home. Right. And the intruder had a healing wound on the inside of his arm in the shape of a bite mark. Yes! Go Denise.
Got him.
She's a badass. So police then were able to obtain hair and blood samples from the assailant, as well as a warrant to search his home. The next day, they go to his house. He's still in the hospital. They find a black ski mask and a pair of gloves under a couch cushion, several drops of blood and a blood-soaked shirt in the laundry. Oh, God. Several drops and smears of blood in the bathroom.
My word.
Additional pairs of gloves, including a black pair of rubber gloves. Okay. Some blood-stained shorts and socks in the bedroom.
Oh, gross.
Yep. I mean, do some laundry, dude.
My gosh.
A pair of black pair of shoes. That's going to be important. Black pair of running shoes. Okay. And a loaded .380 semi-automatic handgun belonged to Denise's husband that had been reported missing from their home. Wow. The officer at the scene identified the clothing and the gloves as being what the assailant was wearing when he broke into Denise's house as he watched. Right. Denise was able to positively ID him as her attacker.
Oh my gosh, yay Denise!
The black running shoes matched up to a patterned bruise that was on 15-year-old Charlotte's cheek.
Oh my gosh.
Where he had stomped her in the face. So they arrested Harvey Miguel Robinson, born 1974. When they arrested him, he was 18 years old.
Are you serious?
But he was 17 years old when he started on his spree with Joan in 1992.
Wow.
And when investigators researched Robinson, they were able to align his short times in jail with his breaks in the rapes and murders. Like he would get caught for like petty crimes and then have to go and spend a month in jail or whatever, and that would be the break. And then he would come out and do it again.
Oh my gosh.
They also noted that all of the areas that he lived in when he would come in and out of jail, yeah, and they were all within blocks of every one of his victims when they were attacked. He was one of the youngest serial killers ever arrested.
Yeah, you don't hear about him that young.
He was charged with a slew of firearms violations, burglaries, attempted rape, attempted murder, they just like iced the cake and put the whipped cream on. Everything that was all relating to the attacks of Denise and the rapes and murders of Joan, Charlotte, and Jessica Jean. In relation to the attacks on Denise, Robinson was sentenced to 41 and a half to 81 years in prison.
That's still not long enough.
In regard to the rapes and murders of the other victims, the jury found aggravated circumstances and sentenced him to death 3 times.
Yes!
Plus additional years for the aggravations.
I love that.
One's death sentence was overturned.
Of course.
And it was converted to life with no parole because he was 17 when he killed Joan.
Okay, whatever.
Then he waived his right to appeal the death charge on Charlotte, and in exchange for that, he was given life, no parole.
What?
They commuted his death sentence off of there. So, in 2019, the death penalty of Jessica Jean was still upheld so far.
That's good news.
The judge that upheld that asked Robinson in court if he would consider donating his brain to science. And he said it's because of all of the advances from studying sports concussions that maybe that with all the brain studies that they're doing that they could figure out why he was so wired to be a serial killer.
Interesting.
And Robinson said he would consider it, but he would have to check with his religion because he had converted to Muslim. So he wasn't really sure, but he would consider it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to tell you that Robinson's father was an alcoholic who often abused Robinson's mother physically and emotionally, and eventually he left. But in 1963, the father had gone to prison for severely beating a York woman to death.
Oh, wow.
He was convicted of voluntary manslaughter and sentenced to 6 to 12 years. I'm not sure when he got out, but it was in time to breed and produce this spawn of Satan. Yes, that became worse than him. So right now he is, of course, he's never going to get out. Even if this other sentence was overturned, even if they decided to give him life with the possibility of parole, with all of his charges, he would still be in prison for over 100 years. So in 2019, when the last time he was in court, he was 45. He was in a wheelchair already. You know, prison is not good to the body.
Not good for you.
It's not real good for you.
It's not good for you.
So I feel like he's where he needs to be. I think a death sentence would actually be too light for him because I think that he went in there very young, which means he was probably prime meat, which I really hope he was.
Yeah, but now he's used to it.
He is.
He knows how to, now he's the one.
But remember, when you're on death row, you don't even have to be with the population. I want him to have to be with the population. I want him to have to suffer every day. I want him to be raped every night when he goes to bed.
And I want him to be like heat fed into his room so he's hot all the time.
Yeah, I want it to be uncomfortable. Yeah. I do. I really do. And I want them to...
And then on occasion, if somebody could just stomp him in his face and leave a shoe print, that'd be
I think
great.
While he's sleeping, that should just happen. It should just drop from the ceiling randomly. So anyway, I never knew that Allentown, Pennsylvania had a serial killer. Yeah. Never knew that. And not only that, but, you know, the youngest serial killer that at that point was on record. I don't know if we've got a younger one than that or not. I guess we'll have to do some research, but that was pretty horrible.
That was terrible.
And it makes me lock my door every time I take my dog out.
Yeah. Yes. But listen, I was watching one of the ID Discovery shows a few days ago, last weekend I think it was, and it was about a woman who had been out in her yard planting flowers, and a guy drove by and he decided he was going to get her. And she's just out there, you know, planting roses.
Having a good time, communing with nature.
Her husband comes home from work. Mm-hmm. He walks in the house. He loosens his tie. He's getting ready to go fix himself a drink. And a man comes out of the kitchen and shoots him in the head and kills him.
Oh, my God.
But because it's inside the house and it's all closed up, the woman never heard it. That was outside. There was construction or traffic or something, and she never heard it. Mm. So her husband's laying on the floor, dead. The guy goes into the kitchen, grabs himself a beer, cool down. You know,
my gosh.
It takes a lot to kill a man in his own home. And then he waits until she finishes planting the roses in her garden. She comes in. She, you know, is walking into the house. And he grabs her, and he rapes her, And then he hog ties her and throws him in his car.
Oh, no.
And he held her captive for 10 days.
No, he didn't.
And raped her and made her take a bath in front of him.
Ew.
And she was a nurse. She was, I think, in her 40s at the time. And, her kids were like, I don't know, did mom kill dad and then leave? Did
she know her husband was dead at that point?
She did. The guy told her that he had
killed her, but she didn't know it for herself.
Right. But because she had been tied up with this rope for so long, she got these really bad cuts in her wrist, and she kept telling him they're getting infected because he would leave her. He would hog tie her on her belly, and and then he would leave her alone in a dark house, go wherever he would go, and then come back and have his way with her. And finally, she said, "Please don't leave me tied up. Put handcuffs on me because the rope is irritating. I've got bad infections." And he listened to her, and he put handcuffs on her, and he tied her, but didn't tie her quite as tight as he normally would. But he didn't tighten the handcuffs really tight, and she was able to move her wrists. So he left, and she was able to move her wrists enough to untie that freaking hog tie. She gets out. She has no idea where she is. She's still handcuffed. She's just gotten the rope out so she can move. And she gets to the phone and manages to call 911, and she tells him who she is, and she's like, "And I don't know where I am, and you have to hurry because he's going to come back and kill me. He's going to kill me." And the whole time she's on the phone screaming, "He's going to kill me." And the police come in and she screams, "He's going to kill me." And they finally calm her down and are like, "No, we're here to help you." When this man went to trial, the judge sentenced him to life. And for 10 days every year during the time that he held that woman captive, he goes into solitary confinement to think about what he did.
See, that's the kind of judge that we need a lot more of. Let the punishment fit the freaking crime.
Yes.
I mean, that's my thing. God bless that judge.
Yes.
God bless that. I don't know who that judge is, but that judge for president already.
I agree.
I mean, that is the kind of people we need in our judicial system.
I agree.
Holy moly.
Yeah, so for 10 days every year he goes into solitary, and he knows why.
That's right, he does, and he can sit there and think about it, little shithead.
That's right.
Gross. And I think he should have to take public baths, too, in front of all the prisoners.
Right.
Because that just strips you of your dignity.
Having watched that, I immediately was like, I'm not leaving my door unlocked when I walk my dog anymore.
Not at all.
So
no.
I lock it up tight whenever I walk out, even if it's just down to the second floor to see my sister.
Yeah, I agree. You have to. I mean, I have 2 dogs, and usually I only walk one at a time, but I don't trust Leroy Brown.
No.
And I don't want somebody to get him.
I know.
Like, what if somebody came in and hurt him?
Oh, my gosh, I'd be so sad.
I would be devastated. So, no. No.
All right, well, I've got about 10 more minutes left on my casserole.
All right, so I think you and I should take a little breaky
Take a break. I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine.
Please do.
I'll tell you what needs to happen, and then I'll talk about a murder.
I'm excited.
Yay!
All right, y'all, hang in there. And
we're back, y'all. We're back.
We're back.
I'm having some wine. It's super good.
Yes, and I'm having some water. It's super good. Mm-hmm. And you'll hear the timer go off in a few minutes, and I'm going to go put breadcrumbs on the casserole because, as usual, she makes me finish everything she starts.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all know that's not true. So anyway, I didn't have breadcrumbs. I had to toast some hamburger bun.
It's fine.
And I threw some little, it's a Pampered Chef rosemary seasoning into melted butter.
Nice.
Put my breadcrumbs in there and mixed it up. So hopefully it'll give it a little extra. You don't really have to have it. It's not like it's like key in the casserole. But
it's not, but it adds a little crunch to it. I do like that.
Yeah,
I like a little crunch.
You can put a Ritz cracker on it if you want.
A Ritz cracker would be good, or even just some tater chips, girl.
Okay.
I mean, if you really had to put something on there.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk about murder.
Please do. That's what we're here for. Keep it light.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So this week I'm going to head on to Vegas, baby.
Ooh, what happens in Vegas does not stay in Vegas because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Vegas?
No.
I haven't either.
I don't want to.
I don't either.
It's just not calling me.
I'm not a big gambler.
I'm not a big gambler.
I mean, my biggest gambling is a scratch off. And even that, I'm like,
I'm so mad at myself. I'm like, can I get half of this back? Yeah, and I'm chintzy because I don't buy anything more than a $5 scratch off.
Yeah, I think one time you and I went on a cruise and tried to gamble, but we didn't understand it.
We didn't get it.
We don't understand.
We just threw the money away that we were given, and then we left the table.
And we got another drink.
Yeah, it was not fun. And I went to Reno, so I went into those casinos.
Right.
They all smell really bad, like stale alcohol and stale cigarettes. So bad.
Oh, do they?
Yes, and they're dark and dank.
Oh, gross.
Because they don't want you to know what time it is.
Yeah.
Like there's heavy tinting on the doors. There are no windows. Like you just get lost in time.
Oh my god.
And I just didn't enjoy that time. I didn't enjoy being there. I was there for business, so I really wasn't supposed to be. I wasn't there to gamble, but I just didn't. Nothing about it really appealed to me. Now, in Reno, it's just casinos, and then you can travel around to some of the casinos and outside of the casino, because it's all like this huge indoor thing that takes up like a block. And inside, it was like 7 casinos and 3 hotels and all these restaurants, and they're all connected like a huge mall.
Yeah.
And then these performances would happen like outside of one of the casinos or what. It was just odd.
Weird, yeah.
I didn't like it. It was very different. It just wasn't me. It wasn't my thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it's very popular. People.
My daughter went there for her something birthday, 21st.
Oh, right.
Is that her 21st birthday? No, I don't know. One of her birthdays. 20-something. She went to Vegas.
All right, so I'm going to tell you a bone-chilling story.
Okay,
it's bone-chilling.
Just remember, you gave me crap about my story.
Okay. Bone-chilling. It's about the murder of Ginger Rios. She's a 20-year-old singer.
Oh, Ginger.
We're going to go all the way back to April 5th of 1997 because the 90s were a real bad time for murder.
They really did. People were quite frustrated.
They were out of control. Out of control in the 90s.
Just don't think we had a good handle on mental health at that point.
So, like most of our stories, a call comes in to the Las Vegas Metro Police Department. The man on the line tells police that his wife Ginger disappeared during a shopping trip the previous afternoon. He said he dropped her off at a spy store called Spycraft, parked his car, and he hadn't seen her since.
She went off to be a spy.
I guess so. So he said that she got out of the car and walked into the store. He had seen her walk into the store. He smoked a cigarette. He waited a little bit longer, and he's like, what the heck is taking her so long? So he went into the store, and he asked the man in the store if he'd seen her. He gave a description, and the man said, oh, yeah, she was in here. She bought a couple of books, and she left. So
Keep going. I got to go tend to your stuff.
Man tells the detective on the phone, I haven't seen her. I don't know where she is. Please, can you help me? And the detective says, I'll be right there.
That's nice of him. Yeah. He didn't say, well, give it 24 hours.
Give it 24 hours, right. So the detective meets up with Ginger's husband, and Ginger's husband's name is Mark.
Okay.
To get some more details about what happened. He was kind of surprised when he met Mark because Mark is 14 years older than Ginger and a little bit of an introvert, whereas Ginger, she was outgoing. She was 20. She was a singer. She was a dancer. She was a model.
Life, and she had the man that worked for her.
Right.
So stop judging.
Right. So, but Ginger was really kind of making a name for herself on the Vegas circuit. So
that's cool.
A small red flag had gone up in the detective's head, like, I don't know about this guy. But he puts it to the side and keeps on trucking. So Mark tells him that he checked with all the other stores in the strip mall where the Spycraft store was, but nobody remembers seeing Ginger. Oh. Mark said that he even checked with Ginger's family to see if she had shown up at their house. And when Mark explains that Ginger had gone into the store with only her wallet and phone, but left her purse in the car, her family becomes alarmed because they say Ginger never goes anywhere without her purse.
Oh, wow.
So there were some red flags. So Ginger's dad comes home. His name is George. And he hears that Ginger's missing. And he immediately grabs Mark and tells him, get in the car, we're going to the store, to the spy store. So he wanted to go to the spy shop to see if they had video, because it's a spy shop.
Oh my God.
They're going to have video.
Genius.
Right?
You would think.
Right. So they get there, and the doors were locked. So they go around back, and they happen to run into the owner.
Oh.
And he's leaving the store. He's getting in his car. And they explain to the owner what happened. And the guy said, oh, yeah, I remember. She did. She came in and she bought a couple books and she left. I've got surveillance in the store. I've got to go out of town for business for a couple days, but I'll get it to you first thing on Monday.
Couple days?
Couple days.
Well, no, that's not nice.
Right. So...
Did they check the trunk of his car?
They said, you know, can't you just get in there? And he's like, you know what, I already set the alarm. He had his wife and baby in the car.
I don't care.
So
He's
they
a
were
jerk. Like him.
All right.
What's his name? Jerkwad?
Jerkwad.
Of the spy store?
Yes.
Spies Are Us?
Spies Are Us.
Jerk.
All right, so George and Mark then go home and they start trying to brainstorm on what could have happened to Ginger. Her family agreed that Ginger wouldn't have run away because so much was going right for her. She was performing an act with a salsa band. They were called salsa machines.
Salsa.
Right.
Got to do some salsa.
They were doing like a lounge act.
Oh, yeah.
So she was having a really good time.
She's kicking up her heels.
She and Mark were newly married. So they hadn't been married for very long. And the day before she disappeared, they had moved into a great house. They bought a house. And it even had a basement. She was planning to open a dance studio in the basement.
Oh, my goodness.
So she had this. So
aspirations.
Really good. Yeah, and then she went to the spy store and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, really.
So,
oh, Trout.
Yeah, he can't. So, I've lost my place because Trout, you know.
Does his thing.
Got in the way and blah, blah, blah. And anyway.
She got a house and she was going to open a studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. She was happy.
She had a lot going on in this Ginger.
And they didn't seem to think that Mark had anything to do with it. They found him to be quite trustworthy.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
But the detectives felt like they wanted to take a deeper look at Mark because they weren't so sure. They also noted that there had been no activity on her ATM card.
Okay.
And she had been planning to make a big deposit from, I guess, her salsa lounge. I'm doing the salsa. You can't see.
You cannot see it and you don't want to.
It's really good.
No, the wine is already taking effect.
I'm really good at salsa.
You're good at chips and salsa, sugar.
I know.
It's the wrong kind of salsa.
Anyway, she had not made the deposit.
Okay.
So, and Mark had been out doing his own surveillance. He was like on it. He did his own investigation. And the detectives were like, I don't know about this guy because he came up with theories of why Ginger would have left on her own. So it's like they felt like he was trying to push any suspicion off of him.
Okay. And lead him astray.
Maybe. I don't know. So not long after Mark reported Ginger missing, they get a call from a police officer, and it seems that they've come upon Mark and Ginger's car, and the darn thing is burning in a parking lot. So the detectives go there.
Ruh-roh.
Mark wasn't with the car. The car was just burning. They were able to track him down, and he says, on my way home from work, the motor started acting funny.
Okay, Mark.
And then it started smoking.
Now you're on the list.
So I parked it, and I
just let it burn.
And I walked away to get help.
I walked away.
And detectives were like, okay, dude, what's going on with you? So they take the car back to the crime lab, and he's like, great, take it. I don't care. It's, what am I going to do with it? It's half burned. They take a closer look, thinking maybe they're going to find some kind of clues or evidence about what Ginger.
Half a Ginger.
But nothing. They got nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing that would help them in the case. Nothing. It was very suspicious, though.
All right.
That whole burning of the car. Or maybe Mark's just having a bad damn week because it happens.
Oh, you don't have to tell me.
Exactly. Now,
I never tried to burn my car because I was having a bad week because then I got a whole situation with the insurance.
Okay, but you can relate to a car having a bad motor because you don't have a lot of money to fix it and it catching fire.
I do get that.
Yeah.
I do. I'm going to go get your squash.
So now detectives have spent all this time focused on Mark.
Yeah.
And they haven't gotten anywhere.
No.
Right. So then they're like, well, duh, maybe Mark didn't do it.
Oh my God, those.
So now they have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and they've lost a lot of time.
And start at the very beginning.
They could have found her by now.
Yeah. They had to go back to the last place she was seen, which is that weird spy store.
Yeah, big dummies.
So Ginger's family is putting posters up everywhere, and they start getting in front of the cameras to ask the public for help. Investigators go to the spy shop. They call the owner. His name is John Flowers. And
I don't even believe that name.
And they ask for surveillance.
Yeah.
From the day Ginger disappeared.
Perhaps you could give it to us now, John Flowers.
And then they wanted a statement from him, telling, what time did you see her come in? Did she seem off? Did she seem upset? Did she say anything? All of that stuff.
What books did she buy?
Right. What did she get? Do you have a receipt?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can provide us to indicate?
What was she wearing? What color was her hair? Because if her name's Ginger, I bet I know the answer.
Well, you're wrong.
Oh my God, why would you name a kid Ginger if their hair isn't ginger?
Because maybe they like spicy things.
Okay.
Duh.
That's true. She was into salsa.
Mm-hmm. So, John Flowers said, cool, I'll get it for you, but I'm at my store in Arizona.
Oh my gosh, this man with the excuses.
But I'll be in touch with you when I return. I'll be back.
Well,
Meanwhile, though, Flowers sent one of his employees to talk to the investigators, and they managed to talk that employee into letting them into the store.
Thank you. Holy moly.
Right. So they go in. Now, they can't do, deep dive anything, but...
Now, they can look around, but if there's, Ginger's shoe in the middle of the floor, then they can snoop a little bit further.
Right. I'd be looking for, secret doors,
me too.
passageways, what is this
Open
place?
sesame.
Right, I'd be pulling every book off the shelf.
Mm-hmm. Hocus pocus.
So, when they walk in, they don't really notice anything out of order, nothing crazy. But they go to the back room and they notice there's a strong odor of cleaning solutions. And they also find a tiny little spot of blood on one of the walls. So they take a sample, but unfortunately it's too small to get any information from. And the investigator decides, you know what, I'm going to call John Flowers and I'm going to ask him about this smell and the blood.
I'm going to say, I'm here. I'm here in your store.
Yeah.
You
I
big
happened
dummy.
to be looking around and I smelled a smell and saw a thing. What do you got to say?
Are you still in Arizona?
Right. So he says, oh, well, we keep our dog, when we're at the store, we keep our dog in that back room. And sometimes he pees on the floor, so I have to clean it with bleach, And that probably the blood had come from him.
I don't believe it.
Well, the investigator believed it. Because, by golly, he has a boxer. And the same thing happens to his dog. Sometimes he gets a bloody ear, and he shakes his head, and blood goes all over the wall. So, of course, this guy is telling the truth.
Okay, first of all, that guy needs to get medical attention for his dog. He's irresponsible.
Yeah. So he's like, okay.
Now we got two.
I got you.
Now we got two guys.
Totally understand what you're saying, dude. My dog bleeds all the time and shakes.
I'm just saying, I'm not calling them morons, but I'm just saying they're not the sharpest tools.
Right. But the investigator is still a little perplexed as to why it's taking so long to get their surveillance tape. He's like, dude, sorry about your dog, but can I get a tape? But because his stories were believable, they didn't think they could force the owner to turn over the tape. So they didn't really have enough evidence to say, we're going to subpoena your tapes.
Oh my God, it was the last place that she was seen.
I know, but then there's the bleach and the dog. And the owner's great. He just owns a store. It's a spy store.
But it was the last
place.
I'm not saying you did something, John Flowers. Maybe somebody followed her out of the store and we could see who that was.
Yeah. No.
Oh my gosh, these guys, they're like tumbleweeds in the desert.
So after about a month and a half, they still didn't have a clue.
Poor Ginger.
About
She
what
has
happened
left
to
this
Ginger.
planet and then some by now.
They were dead in the water. Time keeps on ticking.
And I think she's dead in the desert.
Time keeps on ticking.
Ticking into the future.
Oh, we did good.
That was a good one.
Oh my
That's that
God.
line.
Cheers to that.
Woo-hoo.
Wow. We should do an album.
We should do a podcast
Oh
about
my God. So, the phone rings. Hallelujah.
Ringa-linga-dinga-linga.
And this guy from a customs office in Arizona says, dude, I think I just got some evidence in a case that you're working there in Vegas. And the investigator, who's brilliant, by the way.
I don't think so.
Brilliant.
I don't think so.
What?
This is the fourth
How
stage.
on earth did you get evidence in one of my cases? That doesn't make any sense. That you in Arizona and Phoenix, Arizona would have information about anything
Hello.
that I'm working on.
Hello. Like, what is happening?
Right.
Oh my God, this guy is a doofus.
Yeah. So then the customs
deputy dog over here.
The custom guy says, "Oh, well, we performed a search of a spy shop in Arizona, and we've come across some evidence that we think is very important to your case." So the official said the owner, unfortunately, has gone on the run, but his wife is here. If you want to talk to her, you might be able to talk to her. We had to come in and do this investigation because they got caught selling some illegal listening devices. So during this week of the spy shop, officials had questioned John's wife, and the investigator, and they tell the investigator she's got some very important information she needs to share with you.
She's got to get something off her chest.
It seems that she's telling us that her husband John has killed a woman. She said that she hadn't told anyone because she's terrified of her husband. And now that he's on the run, she feels like maybe she could spill the beans.
It's a good time, yes.
So the investigator tells the officials, "Protect her with your lives. I'm on the way."
Oh, now you're protected, deputy dog.
It's like awake now.
Yeah,
like,
now you're up.
You solved it for me. I'll be right there.
I think I'll get up now. I think I'll get out of bed now. Y'all protect her with your life. I mean, these people.
I know.
Not the sharpest.
I know. So Deputy Dog drives from Las Vegas to Arizona, and he sits down. Sorry, Trout, you got all excited for nothing. We were banging on tables and making all kinds of noise, but you go lay down.
He hasn't stopped whining since you started talking.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know. I told you that we needed better behavior this week.
I understand. You told him that.
You didn't run any kind of a seminar or a class for him or a PowerPoint?
Yes, in between my full-time job and unpacking my brand new apartment.
Okay. Don't get all salty about it. I'm just saying
I ran a couple of seminars.
Your dog
I
needs a
did
seminar.
come across his training certificate from obedience school. So
Well,
I don't
we're
know
going
what
to
your
revoke
problem
that.
is.
We're
He's
revoking
taking
it.
the class, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, I think he just audited the class.
No.
Trout.
Okay, he's been reprimanded. Anyway, so John's wife, Cheryl, tells the Vegas investigator, Deputy Dog, that the day Ginger disappeared, she and her husband and their baby had been at the Spycraft store. Ginger comes into the store, and then John suddenly tells Cheryl, "I need you to go buy me some film."
Film. I gotta get some film.
I need some film, and I need it now. Because Cheryl's like, "You need it now?" And he's like, "I need it now."
What's he need film for?
He needed film.
He's weird.
So she went out and bought film. She was gone for 10 freaking minutes. 10 freaking minutes.
And in that time, he killed Ginger.
When she came back to the store, a man approached her and asked if they had seen his wife. It was Mark, looking for Ginger. Cheryl said yes, she was here looking at some books. And John said yes, she bought some books and then she left. And then after Mark left the store, John told Cheryl, "I've done something bad. Whatever you do not go to the back room."
Oh my God. And she said, "Okay, I'm going to go wait in the car."
Don't go to the back room where we keep the dog and we bleach it down. And the dog got a bloody ear, by the way. Don't go back there. By the way,
we don't have a dog.
Don't go back there. Don't go back there. So
there's nothing to see in the back room.
Yeah, Cheryl, being Cheryl, walks to the back room.
Oh my God.
She carefully opens the door and sees Ginger laying in a pool of blood. Just as she has opened that freaking door, her husband walks up behind her, grabs her around the throat, and starts to squeeze. And he said, "You better not tell anyone or else you're going to get it worse than her, and then I'm going to torture our baby."
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Who says I'm going to torture our own child?
I know. So, yeah.
This guy is unbelievable.
Yeah. John told Cheryl that Ginger had come into the store and he had punched her and kicked her. And
What? Why would you do that?
And then he put her in the back room.
Why would you do that?
And then he continued to stay. He just stuck her in the back. We're good. What can I get you? Would you like a pair of night vision goggles? What else can I get you, man?
How about a fingerprint kit?
Oh my gosh.
Why would he punch her and kick her? That's
10
so rude.
freaking minutes. She was gone for 10 minutes.
Cheryl?
Oh my God. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Oh my God, I can't. So after Cheryl discovers Ginger, John spends the rest of the afternoon cleaning up Ginger and putting her into a bag. Well, by the way, he had also sent a new employee out for garbage bags. It was like, dude, we need garbage bags.
Real bad.
Go
the
right
heavy
now.
Duty kind.
Cheryl's going for film, otherwise I'd get her to do it.
Exactly.
You need to go get some contractor
grade plastic.
Yeah.
4-ply plastic bags.
So he finishes cleaning up the blood on the floor with the bleach, by the way.
Of course.
And puts Ginger's body in their van and loads up Cheryl and the baby
and they head to
into
Arizona.
the van. And as he's going to get into the van to leave, that's when Mark and Ginger's dad, George, approached him. So Ginger was in his van when you asked.
Oh,
just like
his family. What a sicko.
Yeah. So, it's gross.
Don't bring me down with your bloody schemes.
So Cheryl's thinking, my God, we're going to Phoenix, right? She's assuming that Ginger's in the car, but she's not sure. And she's scared to death, right? So John pulls over into the desert on the way to Phoenix, and he makes Cheryl get out of the car and sit on the side of the road so she won't leave. Then he grabs something out the back of the car, the van, and a shovel, and walks off into the desert. And he buries Ginger. Then he makes Cheryl get back in the van, and instead of going to Phoenix, they just went home. But the next day, John's like, I want to go and make sure that girl's really buried good. I want to reinforce it. So he picks up some cement bags and some water, some jugs of water. And then he makes Cheryl and the baby get back into the van. They drive back to the desert, and he goes back to put cement over Ginger's body.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cheryl.
Cheryl, you poor thing.
But a few minutes later, he comes running out of the desert, jumps into the van. He's pale and sweaty, and he's yelling, my God, they found her. They found her. My God, they found her. Well, shoot.
Who done found her? The coyotes?
I don't know.
Did the coyotes get her?
I don't know. Then investigators ask Cheryl, can you show us, where you can find Ginger's body? So she takes them out to the grave. And they find her grave, and it's got, 2 concrete blocks. He must have made up a block and then set it on top of the grave. I don't know. Did he think she was going to, dig her way out?
I think he was scared.
He didn't, pour it on so it saturated in. He made a couple of weird blocks and stuck them on top.
He's not the brightest bulb. But then again, neither is Deputy Dog.
Right. So they bring out the team, and they carefully start to dig, and they find Ginger's body. The investigator calls Ginger's dad, lets him know we found her. George then has the unbearable task of telling the rest of his family that Ginger is gone.
Including Mark.
An autopsy confirms that Ginger had been beaten to death and sexually assaulted.
Ew.
10 minutes. I'm just saying, 10 minutes. You casually walk into a store. You're the only customer in there. It's just you and the owner. You're looking at spy books, and then, bam, freight train. Freight train.
Okay, so lessons learned. I will not be going into a store where there is just me and unemployed.
No. I'm going to walk in now and say, who else is here?
Yeah, I need a roll call. Roll call. Everybody, if you're here, say you're here. If you're not, don't say nothing.
I'm not kidding. I'm not even going into a coffee shop where it's just me.
My husband was right outside.
He was in the car smoking a cigarette, listening to the radio, probably.
No, in the meantime, his poor wife's being bludgeoned and sexually assaulted.
God, he's thinking, what book does she need from the spy store? My God, she's a salsa dancer. What are we doing?
What are we spying on?
Oh, Lord. Anyway, so now they have to find John Flowers,
Yes,
right?
they do, and they need to find him quickly.
Yeah. They also They put an APB out for John.
And they need to put Cheryl and that baby under protective.
I agree.
Protective
I don't
protection.
think they did that, but I agree.
Mean.
They also go back to the spy store, and this time they've got their big search warrants.
Oh yeah, so they can really tear it up.
Yeah, and they do the top to bottom search. They find bloodstains on the carpet, and they were able to confirm those belonged to Ginger. Now, Ginger was making a name for herself in Vegas, so this was really big in the media. Mm-hmm. Like this Las Vegas starlet has now lost her life in a spy store, which is good that it gets a lot of publicity because a witness comes forward and says, hey, I was shopping at the Spy Craft store in Phoenix.
I will never go to a spy store.
And the owner grabbed me, threw me over his shoulder, and started carrying me to a back room. And I was terrified. I was able to get away because a customer came in before he got me into that back room.
Oh my gosh.
And he had to let me go. But I've been too afraid to tell anybody, and I was scared nobody would think it was me. And this was like a 16, 17-year-old girl.
Oh wow.
Not even like
a full woman.
Right. So then investigators continue to go back into who is this John Flowers? Like, who is this guy?
Who is this guy?
Well, guess what they found out?
What? His name's not really John
He's
Flowers?
Not John Flowers.
Oh my gosh!
His name is Craig Jacobson.
That's not even close to John Flowers.
And he's real bad.
Seems
he
like
had
it.
some federal warrants out of Florida.
Cheryl didn't know this?
No, she didn't even know.
She thought she was married to John Flowers.
Yeah, well, she ain't. She married to Craig Jacobson.
And she thought, oh, this guy, he's a pretty upstanding citizen. He got a spy store.
He has several.
He got a chain.
He's got a chain. He had it in Vegas. He had it in Arizona, and he had one in California.
In Cali?
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
Yeah. So, but a spy, you can change his identity or whatever.
Not the spy manager, not the store owner.
I don't know.
I want to know. He must have read some good books.
He must have.
Craig Jacobson? What's his name?
Craig Jacobson. S-E-N, not O-N.
Okay. But look how good I did.
You did really good.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Yeah. Right. So, Cheryl does say, hey, you know what? We have a store in California. You might want to head over to LA and see if you can find him.
Oh.
So they found him. He was at a hotel, and they arrested Craig.
John Flowers Jacobson.
known as John. And John confessed to killing Ginger. And he told the investigator, she came into the store, I walked over, I punched her, and then I threw some Van Damme kicks at her.
Some Van Damme kicks?
Van Damme kicks.
Oh my, he should get extra time in prison for the Van Damme comment.
So he said she was dead before she hit the ground.
He is such a horrible man.
But he didn't give a reason for killing Ginger. Just he felt like it. He wanted to try out his Van Damme kicks.
I guess he'd been watching some Van Damme videos, some VHSs.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So, I know this has been kind of a roller coaster ride of a story.
It has been. Can you wrap it, get a big bow on it?
Yeah, I still got a little
fine.
bit of ways to go. So this is where things get a little out of control. And
no, I thought we already were out of control when he Van Damme killed the girl.
And when we had the investigator focus on the husband instead of that it could
Deputy
potentially be, and why did it take 4 months to get surveillance video from the last place this woman was seen?
Because the guy was an upstanding guy with the dog.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But anyway, now we've got a freaking prosecutor who is concerned because while Craig is in jail waiting his trial, he attempts to kill himself. And the prosecutor's like, you know what? I think his defense team is laying the groundwork for an insane plea. Right?
Yeah.
He also worried that he didn't have a motive for Ginger's murder. And there were no real eyewitnesses to the murder. So he's like, I don't know. So the DA suggests that instead of risking lesser charges from a jury, that Ginger's family should offer a plea deal that would guarantee Craig would spend at least 25 years behind bars.
Here's my plea deal. We're going to let you go in the desert, and we're going to hunt your ass down and bury you alive.
Right.
Or we're going to let you go in the desert, and we're going to hunt you down and kill you and then bury you.
Right.
What's your deal? Right. What you pick.
So Ginger's family, they're a very tight-knit family, and they're devastated, and they don't know the ins and outs of the law.
No, and you trust the professionals.
And if the DA says, I'm worried that he's going to
walk,
or not that he's going to walk, but that he's going to get, so many years with, like, maybe life with the possibility of parole or something to that
effect. 30 years, and then he only has to serve a third.
Right. So based on what the DA told them, they agreed to a plea deal, which would give him life without the possibility of parole. Okay? But listen, they had a confession. They had testimony from Cheryl. They had testimony from another woman who had been assaulted. They had blood, Ginger's blood in the store, in the carpet. They had got Ginger's body. Excuse me. They had an awful lot of evidence. And it wasn't circumstantial evidence. Mm-hmm. They had hardcore evidence. It's so stupid that man would not want to take that case to trial. It's just dumb. It was rock solid. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Please make me understand.
I mean, this is back in the 90s, though, Shulga. This is not, we're not on DNA, so they could say, it's her blood type, but there was no DNA to say it was hers. They could have said, well,
I think there was some DNA testing in the 90s.
Some.
Enough so that they were able to say, this is her blood.
Okay.
They were able to say, this is her blood here.
Okay.
Now, they couldn't say for sure she was murdered here.
Right.
So I guess that was part of the problem. But my God, a jury would hear
and he confessed.
Everything, and he confessed. So
why wouldn't you?
But the DA said, but you also run the risk of him coming up and saying he was insane.
That's true. Or he could say it was a forced confession.
But it's too much. So, I feel bad because the family didn't get their trial, but I feel good because the family didn't have to hear all of the gory details.
Do you really want to hear about how many Van Damme kicks it took?
Right.
I just don't think so.
Right, and he did sexually assault her. So I think that it's probably good that they didn't have to see the pictures and everything else. Anyway, so Craig pleads guilty to first-degree murder under the Alford plea.
Oh, that Alford plea.
Yeah. He's sentenced to 20 years to life, and he's eligible for parole in December of 2018.
Why?
Because they didn't give him, without parole, 20 years to life.
That's true.
So, it sucks.
Yeah, but if he was a really bad dude, are you saying he had a past history?
Well, let me tell you something. Do you remember when he came running out of the desert saying, my God, they found her? Well, guess what? He wasn't talking about Ginger.
Oh, who was he talking about?
The Arizona police had found the week before another victim. Another victim of the Van Damme kicks.
Oh my gosh.
They just didn't know who she was. She was a Jane Doe. They didn't have any information.
They didn't know how she got there.
It's only a week old, so they haven't figured any of it out.
Deputy Dog still hadn't gotten up out of his bed yet.
Right. So she was found in a grave with, guess what? Concrete bricks on it. Just
like Ginger.
Just close to Ginger. In the same exact area.
That's that he could see that somebody
he's come out and he's like, oh, Jesus, they found this other girl. 15-year-old Christina Martinez.
Oh,
she had
15.
Her body. They had her body, but they hadn't connected it to anything else. So once they found Ginger, now they're like, "Oh, look at what we have here," and they're able to connect Craig to the crime. Okay. So they charge him with her murder. She was also beaten to death and sexually assaulted. Well, that had happened at his Phoenix store because guess what? Craig confessed. He was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that one.
I beat the crap out of her, too.
What is wrong with this man?
No problem.
He doesn't have any remorse or any, it's not even remorse. He's not embarrassed. Like, he's just like, yeah, I did that.
Yeah. So they wrap up old Ginger's case in about 2014, a grand jury in Arizona charges Craig with first-degree murder and kidnapping of Christina Martinez.
Okay.
And he had actually murdered her in 1987.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So in 2015, he gets extradited he gets out of jail in Nevada, and he gets extradited to, because I guess he had served his sentence, so he could have potentially been out, but instead he's extradited to Arizona, where he faces this trial for Christina. In July of 2016, a judge in Phoenix ordered that Craig Jacobson be treated to restore his competency to stand trial. They found him incompetent
to stand trial.
In Arizona. He's come across and he's like, oh no, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. So the judge said, agreed, let's get you back.
How do you treat crazy?
Right. Here's the thing. The mental health professionals that were treating him said bullshit, and they sent him back to court. They said, he's not crazy.
He's not crazy. The judge is crazy.
Right. So on November 12th, 2016, a judge in Phoenix said, you're a big fat faker, and charged him with malingering. Is that the name? Malingering. Malingering. Malingering.
So what does that mean?
It means that he was faking an illness to get out of jail.
Oh, dang.
Right. So he's got that charge on top of everything else. Stop. We're almost done. Stop. You want me to hold you, but then I hold you and you still cry. So, okay. So he's got malingering now. So I pull up the court records in Arizona.
Okay.
And this is what I found out. I can see in 2017, there was another competency hearing.
Oh my gosh.
Which was continued on and off until about 2018, where he was again found competent. Then he got rid of his attorneys in 2018.
Of course.
In 2019, there's another competency hearing. This time, he's found to be incompetent to stand trial.
What?
In March of 2020, another competency hearing where they say, hey, guess what? You're competent to stand trial. So finally, they've got a trial date. It is set for July 20th, 2020. Good God Almighty.
And where is this trial?
Arizona.
Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Let's go.
Well, I signed up for court notifications on this particular case. So if I get any update, I'll let you know. But, oh, my God. How crazy. He's still not gone to trial for this murder in 1987. Because he keeps getting lawyers that say he's crazy.
And here's the thing. He is wasting taxpayer dollars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And they even have another inmate that says, he told me this is what he was going to do.
Yeah.
That he was going to act crazy so they couldn't send him to jail.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So,
this guy, he's trying to beat the system.
I don't know. Somebody needs to beat him. That was crazy, right?
Yeah.
Crazy on so many levels. Oh, my God. I'm starving. Can you just
give me some squash souffle?
Oh, my God. Yes. Let me get that right this second. Let me just cater to your every need, sugar.
Duh.
Do we want to pause it while I fix it, or are we just going to keep running?
I mean, we'll keep it running. I mean, it shouldn't take but so long.
I'm just going to give you a spoonful.
Or two. You can't judge it just on one spoonful. You got to at least have 3.
3? Did you eat dinner before you came up here?
I did. It was horrible.
What'd you have?
Well, I'm not going to discuss it on the podcast.
Why not? Is it a local or a chain?
A chain.
All right.
That was awful. It's a chain that starts with a W and ends with an S.
Oh, golly.
It was so bad. Well, I didn't even get what I ordered. Like, when you order chicken and get a hamburger, you know you're starting off on the wrong foot.
It's not going to go well.
Yeah, and when you order a chicken sandwich plain and you get a hamburger fully dressed, that's a whole nother issue.
Oh, Lord.
Like, I didn't get any of the things that I wanted, and I know it wasn't operator error because I looked at the receipt.
Oh, my gosh, are you serious?
Yes.
So you ordered the right thing.
Yes.
You just didn't get the right thing.
I didn't.
Oh, my gosh.
No. So it was just horrible. It's just, and I mean, I like a Coke.
Oh, yeah. Did
I did. I got a Diet Dr. Pepper, which is like poison to me.
So offensive.
Like poison.
I mean, I'm offended when I get any kind of Dr. Pepper root beer.
I hate that stuff. It makes me gag.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, so.
Terrible.
All right, we're going to take a taste. I put a little pepper on mine because I like pepper on squash. Well, it smells good. It looks good. It looks so creamy and souffle-y.
That's delicious.
Uh-huh.
Delicious.
That's summer squash. That's good stuff.
All right, y'all. Well, it's been a crazy night. Crazy night.
It's been a crazy week.
It has been. My Lord. We've got a lot of storms that brew up around here in the summertime.
Yep, and they're crazy storms. I got to, hold on.
Oh, you're going to sneeze because you got the pepper. God bless you.
All right, y'all. Well, have a good week.
Have a good week.
Stay well. Stay safe. Lock your doors.
Yes, be nice.
And don't leave your windows unlocked just
lock it down.
Let's just do everything we can to build a fortress and
stay
safe.
Lock it down and wear your mask.
And wash your damn hands.
Wash your damn hands.
And we love y'all to pieces.
Bye. Oh, wait.
Oh, we have social media.
Oh, gosh. We almost messed that up.
So come see us. We're on the Instagram at Sugar-Coated Murder. And we're on Facebook at Sugar-Coated Murder Podcast.
Fan page.
And there's a fan page. There's a podcast page and a fan page.
And we have a website.
And that is sugarcoatedpod.com.
Yeah.
And email us and let us hear from you. And that email address is murder.sugarcoated@gmail.com.
And next week we're going to do a fan sent in a murder that I'm going to research, and I'm going to do that next time we record.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Well, send us our murders.
Yeah, and shout out to our little niece Taylor because we love you and your little
Taylor.
twins. All right, bye y'all.
Bye.